Provided by the David G. Mugar Foundation, Cisneros Television Group, and the American Water Works Association.
We can feel the magic in our hearts if we take the time to give. We can change the world today, giving others the chance to live. Let's give others the chance to live. Let's give others the chance to live.
A Quaker meeting house is a simple structure, designed to draw little attention to itself, much like the people who worship there. Yet a group of Quakers, of Friends as they're known, has gained international attention for the work they do to help the poor and oppressed around the globe. It was the devastation of World War I that led to the formation of the American Friends Service Committee more than 80 years ago. Based on the principles of nonviolence, the AFSC's first mission was to give conscientious objectors a chance to help civilian victims of the war. Today, they work with the needy and marginalized in 23 countries in an attempt to bring peace and equality to all people.
I was fighting with the military when I stepped on a mine and lost my legs.
Landmines are being laid down in Cambodia today at a very high rate.
In Cambodia, there's a lot of war. The Khmer Rouge put down a lot of mines, so when people or the military go into the forest, they will step on a mine.
These landmines are usually found by children or farmers who are out, the children who are tending cattle and just looking after the cows on one afternoon and set them off.
Right now, we're in Cambodia, in the capital city of Phnom Penh. One of AFSC's major initiatives in Cambodia is a school where we teach local people how to make prosthetic devices. The vice principal of this school is Anna Hendrickson.
This is the prosthetic workshop where students are producing all their products. They're producing the prosthesis and the orthosis. And they also come and make adjustments to the legs that they have already made. So Cicely has seen her patient and has found out that he needs a few adjustments for the prosthesis to fit properly. As soon as she's finished, she'll go back and see the patient, and by then we should have a very good prosthesis.
The Cambodia School for Prosthetics and Orthotics started about 4 years ago, and it has had one graduating class. Currently, there are about 50 students, and they are all learning to be professional prosthetists and orthotists.
Cambodians needed to know how to do this themselves. They needed to build the capacity to serve people who had needs for artificial limbs themselves.
Cicely is one of our very good students. She has the advantage of speaking excellent English.
My name is Cicely K. I have been here for about 2 years, and I am 19 years old. I am the youngest student in this school.
And she's got high ambitions to really become a capable woman, and she will.
Our work in prosthetics and orthotics here at the school is a continuation of a long-term commitment in this area.
The co-directors for AFSC in Cambodia are Bob and Helen Clark, who've been here for about 2.5 years.
Generations have grown up not knowing peace.
Bob and Helen brought a real concern for peacemaking and doing something here that is distinctive.
As we planned our project, we were told by Cambodians from really all walks of life and all parts of the country that the most important problem for Cambodia was peace. And about peace, so please help us bring peace.
I think people do have a vision of a world that's a better world, a world that's peaceful, a world where people respect one another across political boundaries, beyond family or clan or community.
Anna is a very warm and caring person, and this work is very important to her.
I think we need to have the physiotherapist work with this man to get used to the stump being touched at the end. Gina?
She has been working here for about 5 years. She's a Danish prosthetist. She does form a personal relationship with the students. She can get to know them very well, and she has a very strong relationship with each student.
Well, for me, it's an absolute unique job satisfaction to know that whatever knowledge and skills they pick up is going to be useful for the disabled population in Cambodia for many, many years to come.
In the third year, the students do internships distributed throughout Cambodia at the various workshops that are run by a number of different organizations.
Many of the patients come from the former Khmer Rouge areas. Many of the patients have been amputated locally by the Khmer Rouge, maybe in the mountains. So the amputation has been performed very badly.
I was very sad after I lost my leg. I tried to find a job, to learn a trade to help improve my life. But after I leave here, I don't know what will happen to me.
Disabled people are not thought of as being good people. Ties in quite closely with the Buddhist belief that if you are disfigured, it probably is because of something bad you have done in the present or past life. But also mere survival is very difficult. If you're a bad disabled person, getting employed and being able to support yourself can be very difficult.
The American Friends Service Committee, of course, is Quaker-based, founded by Quakers. And one of the basic premises of the way Quakers interpret their faith is that respect for each human being as a creation of God. One does not harm or kill or do violence to someone that one respects.
The hope with the school is that we will see a period in not too many years from now when foreigners will not be necessary in this process, when Cambodians will have the technical capacity, knowledge, and skills to do this themselves.
When the day comes that I have to leave Cambodia, it's going to be very emotional, and it's going to be very difficult because we have, as a family here, we have very strong ties to Cambodia and care very much for the future development of the country and the future of the people that we know here.
Been here at night when it looks like just like another world. People running, border patrol chasing them, helicopters. It's just like a Wild West show out here.
In San Diego, where there are problems of people coming across the border and the fear in this country that those people somehow are invading their territory. And the anti-immigrant feeling in the U.S. is growing.
I used to be arrested at least once a week by police who used to beat me up, put me in jail. I used to be arrested by the Border Patrol who tried to deport me, and I'm a 6th-generation U.S. citizen.
Well, Roberto is part of our immigration, migration, borders work. We work with immigrants, we work with illegal immigrants, undocumented workers. We document what's happened to them.
This migrant here, he ran from the Border Patrol, but he hid under a trailer. He started coming out on the road, but they started dragging him by the feet. So he lifted up his hands and grabbed a piece of aluminum and nearly cut his whole hand off. I've had to identify dead people. I've testified on behalf of migrants who have been shot and killed at the border.
Feels like the border is being militarized, and one of the symbols of that, I think, is that they seem to be building higher fences, stronger fences.
It symbolizes to me the image of the ugly American, for one thing, because of the wall, which symbolizes, you know, an unfriendly neighbor.
People who look like they're browner or people who look like they're Mexicans in the U.S. are often pulled over for all kinds of pretenses.
I was in the car and I started seeing a lot of INS rushing him, and they started slamming him against the wall from one to the other side.
They kept on slamming me, and I told them to stop doing that. I wasn't resisting to them, and they told me that I didn't have no rights to shut up.
It happens just because they're Mexicans. Sometimes they're 4th-generation U.S. citizens, but they have to prove that over and over again. I've never had to prove that.
If this happened to us, that we're U.S. citizens, I think what can actually happen to people that are undocumented and that they don't even know their rights, they don't know where to go, they just stay quiet and just let everything happen to them. And I just want to be one person that's going to make some difference at least.
It's hard to see a light at the end of the tunnel when you see all these obstacles in the way. The only hope we have is to keep the dialogue open and keep exposing the human rights abuses, but at the same time keeping the door open for dialogue.
Better now. Things have changed. Last year, I think it wasn't very bad at all. My 10th grade year was probably the worst because that's when they spray painted all kinds of stuff on our walls. There were like Confederate flags and stuff sprayed all over the front of the building. We had just got our baseball field done, and they had painted a real nice mural on the backdrop of it, and they like spray painted stuff on it. I was so furious and I was so upset. I called my parents and told them what happened, but I couldn't even tell them what happened because I was crying because I was so upset and so hurt because I didn't feel that that's what I, came to school to see. A lot of the students that had the problem with other people and other races, we sent them through HIP.
Thanks everybody for coming out tonight for a HIP session.
And they learned that, just because we're different, we don't have to hate each other.
HIP stands for, we all know the drill, right? Help increase the peace, right.
Right, I went through it in 9th grade because a lot of the problems that happened in my junior high affected me as a person. When I got involved with it, I found it was pretty decent and I liked it, so I just stayed with it.
The 3 big things we try to do in HIP, remember, alternatives to violence, dealing with prejudice and difference, and working for positive social change.
HIP as a program is a 3-day workshop, and there are 3 levels of that. A basic workshop, we ask folks to join us for 3 days. What makes it dynamic and wonderful is that it's a balance of focus and play.
I'm beautiful Butch.
So we tell you up front, you need to be really concentrated for a little while and work on this and think about this, because it's a tough issue. And then we play.
This is where we cooperate. Ready? Pattern ball. Take 2. Magnificent Mariah. Magnificent Mariah. All right.
we could relax. And at the same time that we were relaxing, we were almost like a process of osmosis, gaining an empathy with one another, gaining an understanding of one another.
At this point, what they've done is they've taken some time and they've brainstormed and written all the expressions of violence they can think of, and then all the expressions of nonviolence. So they've created this kind of master list of what both are, both sides of the coin. We'll begin to talk about the systemic causes where violence comes from. What are the things that really back there put it in motion?
The AFSC was founded in 1917 to offer young people an alternative to going to war. And there were other kinds of things that came out of that, but basically that business of offering youth, young people, opportunities to serve and to function within their culture in nonviolent ways has been a basic part of the AFSC from the beginning.
And one of the things we're here for in HIP, one of the things we're working to do is to try to break the connections that lead to violence, to cut these things so that we can stop the cycle. I think it's possible to break it, but I also think nonviolence can be a cycle too once people start learning and trying to apply that, not just personally, but socially.
As principal of St. Albans High School, I see a maturity level of our students has increased since we have had the HIP program in our building. The students now know how to handle situations and look for a solution instead of running from their problems.
I've learned ways that I can deal with my anger and not push it out towards you or whoever it may be, that I can deal with it so that, okay, everything's going to be fine, we can talk about it. I don't have to scream and yell and make myself look bad, but I can deal with it so that nothing will blow up.
HIP has had a great influence on St. Albans. I will say 3 years I've been here, from the time I first entered till now, there's a great difference you can tell because the students, they interact with each other more and they've learned how to get along more.
My belief is if I have trained 125 students of this student body, there are 125 adolescents that will go into adulthood with a lot better coping skills. Whether they ever use this with someone else or not, we've still made a great dent in society.
We're standing early in the morning in a park in central Hanoi in Vietnam, a country where the American Friends Service Committee, known here as Quaker Service Vietnam, has been for many, many years, doing various kinds of development work. We began in the 60s doing some medical work in part of the country where people were really having some problems.
We're in Viet Duc Hospital, which is the major surgical hospital in Vietnam, and this is the pre-op room. People awaiting surgery. Quaker Service first involvement with this hospital was more than 30 years ago, in 1967. We came with a delegation. We worked on all the different sides during the American War, as it's called here, and we came with a delegation in 1967 to see what small gesture we might do.
Khi mà chúng tôi năm 1972 á,
1972, Quaker Service gave artificial heart and lung machine.
The time that we came to Vietnam, we came out of a sense of conscience that there were people suffering here and, in a sense, suffering at the hands of U.S. foreign policy.
When we got the machine from Quaker Service, we were so happy because it marked the relationship between the two countries.
And as a result of that kind of openness, we just helped open the door a little bit, and they ran through it very fast, and they've set up all kinds of relationships internationally.
Many Americans visit our hospital, and in Vietnam, we have a close friend. That's Lady Borton.
Lady really cares about the Vietnamese people. She sees them as her friend. She sees them as her family. She just seems drawn back over and over and over again for various reasons over the 30, 35 years that she's been involved. She has focused her attention and her gifts and her skills on helping local people develop their own capacity. Her assistant, Phong, is a wonderful example of that.
Here in Vietnam, lady is very well known because of her simplicity. She's so simple, maybe even simpler than the Vietnamese, and she understands Vietnamese very well. She's very helpful. She's very good to Vietnamese people. That's why we all respect her and we all love her.
Projects are there in Thanh Hoa?
We have the irrigation project, we have the credit project, and we have the fruit tree project. I would like to take you to see the new pumping station.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we just finished last year.
And one of the things that working on irrigation and some of these other projects does is to provide a more substantive and sustainable way that people can actually stay working the land, and that the country can not only feed itself but now export.
My name is Tang. There are 7 people in my family. Thanks to water from the pumping station, my family has enough food to eat from the recent crop.
This pumping station has 2 functions. Firstly, to drainage the water during the rainy season, and the second just to irrigate during the dry season. You see the sluice gate over there? That is used to drainage water from the whole area up there to the river. Before we have to build the pumping station, they come in here, they never have the second rice crop in a year, only 1 crop a year, and thus they never get enough food to eat.
Now we can control water. When we can control water, it means the rice yield will be better. And if the yield is better, we will have enough food. And if we have enough food, our lives will be better.
The second project, that's a credit project, where the poor women borrow the loan. I borrow 300,000 dong. That's about $26 from Quicker Service Vietnam. And I bought 1 sow. The sow gave the first litter with 11 piglets. And I sold 8 piglets with 500,000 dong, about $45.
When we talk about taking people where they are and seeing what small step or intermediate step can help their life to be better, then it's important, if you've never owned a pig, to be able to own a pig. A pig becomes a capital investment. You can better your life so that you can have a better home, your children can have a better education, which may not be much from U.S. standards, but from the standards of people in a hamlet like this one, it's a dramatic kind of improvement.
Now I can say that I am satisfied because I could borrow the loan from Quicker Service. The loan helped my family a lot. And we have pigs in the pen, and we save some money for food. That is why I can say that I am satisfied.
I was just touched by the ingenuity and stamina, determination of ordinary peasant people, and just very moved by that, and I continue to be so.
This visit demonstrates how important it is to love people even when you don't know them.
when I saw this woman with such incredible dignity, talking about with such excitement, such joy, such sense of a future, what it means to her to have a pig. It seems to me it's such a lesson that the basics of life, the community, the family, a sense of hope for the future are the things that are really important. And so I'm deeply moved by the fact that we in the American Friends Service Committee have been able, through the work of local people, to offer opportunities to people who otherwise wouldn't have them.
Quakers are moved to create social change because of who they are and what they believe. But they set an example for people of all faiths to follow in a world where the actions of one person or one group of people can mean the difference between peace and conflict.
For more information on the American Friends Service Committee, our regional locations or programs, check our website at www.afsc.org. A copy of this video is available from the AFSC Literature Resources Unit at 1-888-588-AFSC for a contribution of $12. American Friends Service Committee, 1501 Cherry Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19102. If you would like to learn more about the Visionaries or any of the organizations profiled, call 1-800-647-5559 or visit us on the web at www.visionaries.org. For more information on other charitable organizations, visit GuideStar on the web. The Visionaries has been made possible in part by the Ford Foundation, a resource for innovative people and institutions worldwide. Additional funding has been provided by the David G. Mugar Foundation, Cisneros Television Group, and the American Water Works Association.